Customer loyalty is so profitable. Why? Because we know it costs anywhere from 5 to 10 times more to attract a new customer than it is to love the one you're with. Okay, so I want you to write that down. Love the one I'm with. All right, because it's talking about looking at your customer base and finding other ways to interact with them. And here's a statistic that is really going to open your mind. A 5% increase in customer retention can increase profitability by 75%. And that's just by reaching out and connecting with their customers. There are many things that drive customer loyalty, but I want to share a very simple equation that will help you understand that customer loyalty concept. And here it is. Magic plus value plus relationships equal customer loyalty. There's a test later, so magic plus value plus relationships equals customer loyalty. So let's take this apart. The first component is customers want magic. They want to see the unexpected and the extraordinary from you. Have you ever seen the video on YouTube of David Holmes, who works for Southwest Airlines? Well, David Holmes, his job is to deliver the safety instructions. You know, the ones that say your seat can be used as a flotation device, and in case of cabin pressure changes, something's going to fly out of the air. He's the guy. All right, so he decided to take an ordinary situation and create the extraordinary, and developed a rap song for the safety flight instructions. And of course, this is caught on YouTube. So David begins in the video by asking his passengers to start creating a beat. So stamping and clapping and stomping. And so you see people in the passenger section starting to put down their magazines, folding up their cell phones, and starting to pay attention to what's going on in the front of the cabin. So he proceeds, and you see more people smiling in the video, and you see at the end, everybody's smiling, paying attention, and he gets this round of applause at the end of it all. He actually was interviewed after that in the first incident, and someone came up to him and said, you know, that's the first time I've ever heard the safety flight instructions before. That just goes to show you, you can take an ordinary situation and create an extraordinary situation. Now, I'm not suggesting you create a rap song for your business, but if that goes, I think Top Dog could do it in New York Minute. But think of ways that you can create the extraordinary. You know, Walt Disney said it best. He said this. He said, do what you do so well that they'll want to see it again and bring their friends. So find ways in your service delivery to create the unexpected, the extraordinary, and the unanticipated in your service experience. So customers want magic is the first component of the customer loyalty equation. The second is customers want value. There was a MSN poll done recently that asked what the #1 customer service expectation is. And there were several answers to choose from, but 77% of the vote was given to these 3 factors: a friendly staff, a knowledgeable staff, and a readily available staff. So we're going to do our own poll. How many of you think that the #1 customer service expectation is a friendly staff over the other two? Over the other two. Okay, 1. How many of you think it's a knowledgeable staff? Okay, and how many of you think if it is a readily available staff? Okay, well, here's the answer. You're going to be a little surprised. The #1 customer service expectation, according to this poll, is customers expect product knowledge. Now, here's why that's important. It's very important to make sure that your frontliners, the people that are on your sales staff, understand their products in and out, because that's what customers expect today. And nothing worse than going up to a frontliner or a customer service representative and they don't know about a feature or anything about a product. I always get very excited when I finally meet a salesperson that really knows everything about the product and could probably sell, you know, at 5 other stores because the person's so knowledgeable. That's so important. Knowledge is the #1 factor. Now, Trader Joe's does this really well. I'm not sure if you're even aware of what they do. When people come and join Trader Joe's, they are actually asked to cross-train. So they may start out in produce one day, and then they're on the customer service desk the next day, and then in flowers the 3rd day. What does that do for that customer? A customer comes in, they have a question about a product line or service question, that employee can answer that question without actually having to go to that customer service desk. That cross-training is invaluable for you. You know, there's no such thing anymore as giving the response, "That's not my department." Those words should be banned from our dictionaries. You know, it's just not in this world anymore, okay? So make sure that you're doing what you need to do to provide that full product knowledge experience. Did you know that Trader Joe's also has a website that if you're vegan, you could go up to the website and actually download a list of vegan products that they carry. So they provide extra knowledge for you because remember on their card they said informed buying decisions. So if you're vegan, if you're lactose free, if you're diabetic, there are actually products listed on their website that will help you make informed buying decisions. So think about how you might be able to do that. And of course, Zappos is famous for this as well. They have a 365-day return policy. Unheard of in retail. Unheard of. What would it look like if your businesses had a 365-day policy? What message would that send to people? Bob, what do you think it would send to people?
Well, being in the restaurant business, it wouldn't be a good idea.
That's a little different. But think of some of the things that you could do that would be extraordinary in your industry. And then another thing that Zappos does is that if you're on the phone with them and you're ordering product and they don't have what you need, they'll actually find 2 competitors and refer you to them. Now, why do you think they do that, Vivian? Why would they do that?
Goes back to the Macy's thing. And also it means that you're caring more about and valuing who they are, that you're going to go out of your way to make sure that they get their need met.
Right. It's about how they feel about you. They're going to remember that gesture, that kindness, that they're willing to give up that sale because that relationship is way more important than any kind of sale that you'll ever make from that. And that's how you're going to be remembered. Okay, so going out and providing above and beyond value. Think about ways in your particular business that you could do that. And the third is customers want relationships. No, they don't want to date you. But here's something to remember. 68% of our customers leave us because they feel poorly treated or neglected. That's huge. That is absolutely huge. So what do we need to do? We need to make sure that those relationships are established and that we're paying attention and listening to our customers. I want to share my own personal experience with this. As a consultant, I developed a pretty large base of customers in the area here. And I don't know if you've heard of the statistic in Arizona that for every 3 people that move in, 2 people move out. Well, oftentimes my customer base would leave me because they moved on to other states. But one thing I noticed is that very rarely would I ever lose a client. And I thought about that, and I thought, well, let me find out what the reason is. So I decided to ask. You know, my client in Chicago, why do you still do business with me? Because I can certainly find you a local client or a local provider. Well, here's what they said. You know your products, you know what to use, you know what to recommend. Who did that sound like? Who did that sound like? That was my dad. That was what my dad taught me to do. And that's why I had customers who very rarely left me. The other thing I want to remind you about is that first impression. You know, the best time to leave that first impression is the first time someone does business with you. I want to share an example of that. I needed some design work, logo design work, and met with a referral again. And sat down 2 hours talking about the design and blah, 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 blah. Wrote a big, huge check and said, go for it. So I'm thinking, okay, I hope this person knows what they're doing. They sure sounded like they know what they were doing. Well, 2 days later in the mail, I got this beautiful box. And in the box was folded nicely tissue with a bow on it. So I took off the bow and unfolded this tissue. And inside the box was a bag of tub tea or soaking tea. And on it was a note. And it said this: thank you so much for doing business with us. Now just sit back and relax. We'll take it from here.
Nice.
And then nicely folded underneath there was my invoice. It made me understand that they were very much into the details. They understood relationship marketing, and I could literally sit back and relax. But you know, I've never touched that tub tea. It's just such a beautiful gift that I've always kept it. And what does that do for this designer? Reminds me. In fact, the designer was one of our Huibregtse Award winners. I award small businesses in the local area for exceptional customer service experience, and she was one of our first winners. So go up on my website and check it out. You'll see a video of her. So what are the 3 things people want when it comes to customer loyalty? We want magic, value, and relationships to create that customer loyalty.